Okay, so we've got a different type of video today. I've actually got one of our students, Jake, who's had a really good story. So we're just going to break down everything that he's experienced throughout the community and some of the milestones that he's actually hit. So before we get started, just introduce yourself, Jake.
So obviously my name's Jake. I'm now 26. I've been trading for just over 2 years, going on to 3 years. I joined Entity, I think late 2024 into 25. So yeah, it's been going good since then.
Awesome stuff. So what was your daily life kind of looking for and looking like before you kind of stepped to us? And how did you actually find out about us and what we actually do?
So at the time I was working, well, I was waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and start work at like half four, 5 o'clock in the morning. So it was kind of like rough hours. Um, But I found Entity through like a mutual friend who was started trading as well. I joined the Discord. Everyone was super polite. Obviously, the progress in the plan was there at hand straight away, and I just got to learning straight away. So that's kind of like my life before, just long hours, kind of like sick of the working life, especially with a family at home. So
It's one of them. You
yeah.
get so many people who come in and they're just sick of having the same cycle every single day. You know, they wake up early, go to work, go to the gym, go bed, and do it all again. And I was the exact same when I first started. Like it was just that whole experience of doing the same thing every day and no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just so difficult to overcome. So were you like you said you were in another community before? What made you skeptical about? Were you skeptical at all when it came to us, or did you see the structure we had? How did it kind of fit into your routine? What made us different to everyone else?
I think kind of like the professionalism of it, kind of like there was a structured plan, more tailored like one to one kind of focus, more so kind of you get everything given to you, and like obviously there's that support from yourself and the other members inside. So I think before it was kind of like a bit random. There wasn't really like one to one support, but definitely as I come into Entity, there was a lot of that one to one kind of connection that enabled to like progress kind of fast. So that obviously did happen fast as well, didn't it? So
Yeah, super important. You know, having that structure in place and actually being like one to one is what really differentiates yourself. Like you're not just getting thrown into the deep end, you know, with 500 people and it's just you're just a number in a community. You know, it's really about building that structure around your routine. And obviously, we understood your demands, which is really good. So your first few weeks in the program, what was it actually like getting started? Obviously, you had a bit of prior experience beforehand. I remember you saying you were trading gold at the time, weren't you, at the very start, making a little bit of profit here and there. When did that structure really start coming in at the start of that program?
I feel like it was the whole strategy and the shift over to forex. I mean, gold was hella volatile at the time. I was going through prop firm challenges, like keep blowing them, just handing the prop firm money, with no real structure. But I think like coming over with everyone kind of doing the same kind of thing on forex at the time, it was good because everyone was kind of trading the same model. Everyone had the same ideas inside the community, and that's one of the biggest things I think Entity is good with is kind of the people inside it are good at like pushing you along, and everyone's like kind of on the same journey. Um, and obviously, it was a good start. I mean, I learned the strategy pretty fast. Obviously, having prior experience in the markets, it was good to pick up. Um, but obviously, yeah, like 2 weeks into actually joining, I was able to pass my first ever prop firm challenge.
That's what we like to
So
hear.
that was obviously a good start.
I mean, to be fair, you made a statement in the community definitely because, you know, when people come in, it's a lot of the time it's a case of people, you know, really just want to feed off you, you know, like they want to just see your entries and then take that trade as well. But it's where we really develop that understanding of being able to see what's on the chart, you know, and understanding all the different concepts. So you're not just, you know, flaunting for signals, you're kind of understanding as well and working along with the team. So that's super important. Was there anything that you found when you came in that you struggled with? How was the transition? Was it very easy? You know, because understandably, you know, coming from, for example, forex to futures or gold into forex, you know, that transition can be quite difficult because it's completely different price action and stuff like that. But how did you find it? Did you find anything difficult, or was it very easy going?
To be fair, it was quite simple. Obviously, coming from how I was trading before, with and coming into Entity with the structure and like the model and the coaching from yourself and Gray, it was kind of easy, and I found it a lot easier trading with you straight away rather than any prior like communities. Just because obviously like the set plan forex at the time was actually really clean. Like everything reacted off what it was supposed to react off, and that enabled me to like progress really fast and kind of get like the discipline and structure in place. Because one of the things I struggled with was my psychology, and I think that's what 99% of people that come into communities with no prior experience have struggles with.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole kind of mental battle kind of eased off as soon as I joined because there was all that discipline in there. Obviously, people, all the community, are kind of keeping you on board and in position to kind of progress.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like I say, that's what the structure is all about. And when we go back to, again, it being one to one, that's where everything just comes together. Was there a moment where, it finally clicked, where it was like, holy shit, that this is real. I can actually do this? Because, people come in and they're very skeptical whether, it's going to work for them, whether it's not. But how did that structure that was implemented really pair with you having that light bulb moment of like, holy shit, this actually can work and I can make something from this?
Well, obviously, I started training prior to joining because obviously you know what can be at the end of it, but you don't realize until it actually happens where it's like, oh, that actually can happen. Obviously, like I said before, 2 weeks in, I passed my first 100k challenge with FTML, and then 2 weeks after that, lo and behold, came my first payout, which was I think it was 11.5k I made within 2 weeks, and then my first withdrawal was like 9.25k.
It's crazy.
So I've got like $9,000 just sitting in my account, earning like just under 2k a month from work. And at the time, obviously, it seemed a bit rushed and whatever, but obviously I was eager to leave, so I did leave work. But then lo and behold came the other challenges of just relying upon trading for your sole income, and that was another kind of challenge I went through. Kind of getting that consistency back because the account went not soon after. Anyone that knows that trades prop firms are not going to be there all the time. Like your account's going to get breached for something down the line. Obviously, the added pressure, but then it was about right what we're going to do now to kind of go against that and build that consistency up where to the fact where getting max allocated with prop firms where I've had like 500 600k in funding with prop firms since after that, but now it's obviously like I'm getting 2k payouts, 3k payouts, and stacking that consistency is a lot better than just going for the bull run at the start, you know
100%.
what I mean?
100%. It's all about having repeatable systems that you can actually rely on. And let's just rewind back. So, your first payout was, I think it was $11,000, obviously, including the split, it came to about $9,000. Now,
Yeah.
from working in a full-time job, how did that actually feel? Receiving that first payout and seeing from a psychological perspective of like, the money actually landing in your bank. Because I always say to people, like, even though that payout's been approved, don't get excited until it actually lands into your bank. That money is only yours once it lands in there. What was that shift like? Because it was a crazy number to be, to make. And we've obviously refined over then. So you're getting these smaller, consistent payouts over time. But how did it feel psychologically and that shift receiving that payout?
It felt like I broke out of the matrix. It was a weird feeling. Like at the time, it was a bit kind of naive to feel like, oh, like I'm going to get this consistently because that's never going to happen. But obviously, getting that overall number where you're earning like between like 1.5 to 2 grand a month working, and then seeing like half a year's wage just enter your bank is a surreal feeling. But it was that light bulb moment where I was like, yeah, I can do this if I just stick to it and stay disciplined and follow the plan. And obviously, we've had our ups and downs, but we've got there. And yeah, honestly, it was obviously I've got a lot to thank for yourself and Gray from that perspective, because obviously without joining the mentorship and without joining the community, I would have never got to that place where that was able to do. But yeah, so surreal, honestly,
Awesome
was
stuff.
surreal.
So now, obviously, from that point, we had that payout, and I remember saying to you, like, that payout is abnormal. We can't consistently get to these payouts, every single time. Like, we really have to strip back the structure and then start scaling these accounts. And obviously, you understood when you had them down points that, that early on in your journey, aiming for them $11,000 payouts every single time is very, very difficult. But that's when we brought in the framework regarding, the smaller, consistent payouts over time and actually scaling accounts. So you've received that payout, and now, as you've said, you've received more payouts since then. How does that now compare to obviously your work life at the time? So, how did that feel, going into work, but that feeling of, I could actually leave my job from this. I just have to put these systems into place. How was that for you overall?
I mean, it was a strange feeling because obviously you can. It's really strange because obviously you're working like 40 hours to gain like 2k a month, and like you're struggling to pay your bills. You got family and whatever to look after, and everything's just like proper full on. But then you've got this skill on the other side where you just need to take a couple of trades like a month, or spend as little as like 1 hour a day just looking at the charts, and you've made like 3, 4 times your monthly wage within the month. It is crazy. But like I say, I did take the decision to leave and pursue it. Along came with that lessons, but again, you both helped out of refining like the structure and overall goals for myself, and we got back on track, and then it all paid off in the end.
That's what it's all about. It's one of the things people understand how lucrative trading can be. They understand that there's really no cap on the potential, but it's all about the systems that you have in place to be able to support what you're doing. So whether that's, leaving a job, we have to understand that, we can't rely on these $10,000 payouts every 2 weeks, and leave our job. It's all about building that consistency and then building blocks to really give you that security that you need. So obviously, you've received payouts since then. Obviously, you've become max allocated with some firms. Obviously, we understand with prop firms that, they're not meant to be held for long periods of time. They're just simply a resource with massive ROI. How does your day to day life look now, considering you've left your job, you've taken it full time now, you've taken that full transition, and you have that structure in place? What does a usual day in your life now look like? Now you've got that freedom to do whatever you want.
So obviously now, like I said before, I was waking up at like 4 o'clock. Now I don't do that. I wake up at like 7:30. Obviously, I've got a family, so it's a school run, and then I'm back on the charts for like an hour. Then it's just the gym after that. Come home, eat, hop on the charts for New York session, just chill for a bit. Kids are back home. I'm able to like play with them and have a lot of time with them, which was a big thing to why I wanted this to work. Because obviously, if you're working all the time, especially as a father and as a dad, you're more likely going to be the provider for your family. So you do miss that time with your kids and upbringing your kids. So for me, that's probably the number one reason to why I got into it, and it's paid off. I mean, I couldn't really be happier with how things are going, and what the skill and what obviously the structure yourself and Gray have put in on board have been helped be able to do for my life. So
Awesome stuff.
yeah, it's a good feeling just being able to just literally do what you when you want kind of thing. But yeah, overall, spending that time with my family was the number one goal, and we've accomplished that. So
Awesome stuff. It's all about having your why, isn't it? I mean, everyone's got different goals that they want to reach, but it's all about reverse engineering. And I think, we get people who come in with, the smallest little goals, and then we have others who have massive goals. Some are more materialistic than others, but it's really just finding that why for yourself that really helps you wake up and fight that battle with yourself, no matter whether it's a bad day, whether it's a good day, as long as you're progressing. And now it's good to see that you have them systems in place to be able to do whatever you want. So, with that being said, is there a version of yourself in 12 months that looks completely different from now just because of this skill set? Like, obviously where you're at right now is insane progression. Like, you've taken that leap of taking trading full time. You're providing yourself that security for not only yourself but your family as well. What does the next 12 months look like for you in regards to, providing for your family, your trading as a whole, all of that stuff? Because, where you're at right now, you're only going to scale up from here. So there's got to be a version of you
mhm.
in 12 months that you're looking forward to see.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, family life is always busy and whatnot, but obviously the holidays are good. We've got a holiday booked within like 12 weeks, which obviously trading paid for as well.
Awesome stuff.
But in 12 months' time, obviously I just want to scale up with firms, but I also want to open like my own live account and start scaling through that, so I don't have to use prop firms anymore. That's kind of the next level where I want to get to. Just enjoying life, just being able to do these extra things with my family and whatnot. Treating, my parents to stuff and treating them to stuff is a big thing as well. But overall, that the thing that everyone wants is that freedom to do what they want, and they're not locked down in a 9 to 5 job or whatever job they may be doing. it's the quality of life is being able to do what you want and enjoying what you do. Now, probably like 90% of people who work jobs probably don't enjoy what they do, and they're probably looking for a way out. And it seems really scary in a way to feel like, you know, you have to come out your comfort zone to go and do something like this. But once you take that jump and you're kind of on the roll with it and you see the potential of it, like there's no stopping whether your goals are big within trading or they're small. Small is like, oh, I just want to be able to make some extra money on the side. I've seen people come into like communities and stuff and say that they just want some extra pocket money on the side, and that slowly turns into like, you know what, I can actually, you know, leave my job and do X, Y, and Z. So it becomes a bigger scale. But like, yeah, 12 months time, just want to be able to just keep scaling, provide more, and yeah, that's the overall goal.
Awesome stuff. Like I say, it's all about having them building blocks in place, and you know, with trading, it really can become a whole income stream for you. You know, we get people who come in and they want to do it as like a hobby, but it never really turns out like that. It's because if you have the structure in place and the systems that you need, you can really take this full time. But what would you say to someone right now who's really sitting on the fence and being like, you know, this is too good to be true. You know, I don't think this is for me. Because obviously, I know we've spoke about your battles before within the community. You know, we spoke to it one to one about, you know, support systems in place. You know, people won't want you to do it. You know, they'll want you to have that security of a job. So, what would you say to someone right now who maybe doesn't have the strongest support system in place, such as family or friends, who's really just sitting on the fence saying, should I bite the bullet or should I not?
Well, it's really cliche. What I'm going to say is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? You either just stay in your life and you do what you're doing for the next X amount of years, and you keep going through that vicious cycle of waking up, going to work, live for the weekend type thing, where you can have the ability to work. Well, you live for like all your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's either you don't jump and you don't take the shot and you just remain where you are, or you can take that jump. You know, maybe perhaps there's some glory at the end of it, but obviously, if you put in the hard work and you're disciplined and you stay on track with the programs and you're coachable, then there's literally no stopping you, in my opinion.
It's all about, you know, having that drive, especially because we can provide everything that anyone needs to really take this skill set to, you know, 10, 30, 50, 100K a month even. You know, the systems in place to really support that. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to yourself on the chart and your system that you're using, you know. So it all depends on how people act on what they're being provided. But like I say, you've been someone brilliant to coach. You know, you've really taken on every single hurdle that you've faced, and you've used it as fuel to fight that war with
Mhm.
yourself and come out on the other side. And now what we like to see is that you've really started to scale and seeing potential from this skill set. And obviously, right now, you know, I'm assuming this isn't the end goal for you. Like we spoke about your 12-month version of yourself, you know, this is only the start for you. Like you're going to be so much higher in a year, 2 years from now, but it's having them systems in place. Now, if you could go back before you joined and tell yourself something, what would it be? Because I don't know, what was the period of you trading before you actually found out about us and started trading? How long were you trading for?
Well, I think I started with like signal groups and stuff, and that's how most people I hear from that get into trading. So it's probably like a good 12 months before. But obviously, a lot of people do rely on just the signal groups and, you know, copying stuff. But ultimately, through people who are in the academy, such as myself, their success is coming from learning the skill. So if I was to go back way to the start, it'd be like just start earlier, pretty much. I wish I started a lot younger, because God knows where I'd be at now. But yeah, it would just be start earlier, stop copying their signals and actually do the work yourself, because you know them signal groups aren't going to get you to where I am and where you are now. It's all about having that self motivation to actually learn something. And the thing is, what people don't understand is like people can go to university. I've been to university before, and it's just this, it's kind of like the same process where you're investing into something to get something back to be able to grow and expand your knowledge on something, right? So it's basically just the same thing. But yeah, it would definitely just to start sooner.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I mean, the business model for trading is just, it's unbelievable because for me, I've tried so many different things, and this is the only one where you have no one else to answer to. You can really wake up and do whatever the hell you want, but it's all about having structure in not only the charts, but also your daily routine as well. So, since you've quit your job and taken this full time, as we've said throughout this call, you've built so much more structure around your life. Like you're waking up at 7:30, going to the gym, eating your meals, getting onto New York session. That structure in itself is helping you as well. So even stuff that you're doing outside the charts, and it is really, really psychologically demanding. But like I say, you've come out on top, which is what we love to see. And hopefully we can take it so much further. Now, what is one thing you would tell someone who's watching this video? Like, what would you want them to take away from this video?
I mean, if you've got, it sounds cliche again, but if you've got a dream, like, you can achieve it. If you just put all your effort into it and that's the only thing that matters in your life, is just to absolutely send it. It'll pay off. Like, it'll just pay off in the long run. See, like, I came in with one goal, and that was to be able to do what I'm doing now. And it honestly didn't take me that long because obviously the structure and everything in place enabled me to do so. But if you're sitting on the fence, then just take the leap, because at the end of it, it's going to be 100% worth it.
That is it. That's the one. And that's what we say to everyone. Investing into yourself will teach you exactly how to fish and not just, provide you the fish to eat on that specific day. You've got a skill set for life, and that's what's important. And I'm really glad to see that you're scaling. Like I say, there's a lot more work to put in for sure. As it comes to, the next 12 months, there's so many things that we can do, to get you to that next level. I know we've already spoke about a few things regarding diversifying capital. There's a few things going on there as well. But yeah, Jake's story is a true testament of what is actually possible if you just lock in and bite the bullet. Now, with that being said, if you're in a position right now where you're struggling to pass prop firms, you're in a full-time job, you're not enjoying the cycle that you're within every single day, make sure to click the top link in the video description and get on call with us so we can go through your bottlenecks and see how our structure can integrate into your life just as it has to Jake's, to get you to a position where you can also quit your job and trade full time. Now, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and a comment, and be sure to click that top link in the description to see if this is something that you could see yourself doing on a consistent basis. And you never know, you could be the next person on one of these videos sharing your story about how you've taken trading full time. Like I say, make sure to leave a comment on this video, make sure to like, and I will see you in the next one.